Okay, so today we're featuring a semi kind of buddy slash friend of mine from Instagram from a long time back.
Cool.
Yeah, he's been fairly heavily tattooed for as long as I've known this guy. He's all black and gray work, but he's gotten his head tattooed recently, and he finished his stomach and his back. He wanted to wait before he sent all this in because he had a lot on the go, and for a lot of people, it takes a while to acquire this much work, right?
Yeah, you don't want to put in half-finished stuff like.
Yeah, people ask all the time how I can manage to get tattooed so often too, right? Like I'm going at a pace that most people can't manage, but
You work in a tattoo shop.
no, I got tattooed this much before then too.
You have
people
lots of money and good spending habits.
Well, people will lobby that now, right? They'll be like, "Oh, well, he worked at a tattoo shop, or he works at a tattoo shop." So of course, it's like, no. Before I worked at the tattoo shop, I was getting tattooed sometimes even more.
Right.
So that's not gonna hold up.
No,
here.
like you don't buy clothes or
No.
cars or
No,
things that other people buy.
I don't spend money on really anything.
Yeah.
So it is what it
You
is.
spend money on like
Bills and responsibilities and tattoos.
protein powder.
Yeah,
I feel
well,
like
that.
it's another large and eggs.
Anyway, so we got this back piece here. It's like a giant Hanya mask Oni thing.
I love it.
This is awesome sizing.
This is great, and I love like all the smokiness, like the negative space smokiness coming off of it. Like this is gorgeous.
This is Koichimynichi, I think is how you say his name. I've never really been sure how to pronounce his name. He's a very, very sweet guy, like super, super nice guy. He's never had a bad word to say. Supports everyone. You see him liking like lots of different tattooed people's stuff all the time, and just always positive interaction, and flame emojis on your stories and stuff like this. Like, just a nice guy, like a genuine nice
A real
dude.
sweetheart.
Yeah, you don't see too much of that anymore. Usually it's like there's some insidious thing hiding underneath of it all. So just as a quick introduction before, because this is going to be mostly just about his work. He's got a lot of work to talk about here. So I'm not a huge fan of black and gray, but this is the way that I like it.
Yep.
Right? Like
High
this
contrast.
this is the way you do it, I think.
Beautiful details.
And like super, super large scale. This thing's readable from across the room. It's, it's all the little details in there, but they're all at a size where they're readable, And I like that the smoke is consistent all throughout.
Yeah, it's not just like a little bit of smoke here and there. It's everywhere.
It trails up nicely onto the back of the head there. And
The hair is so nicely done.
The depth in the mouth is really cool. Like with black and gray, you're kind of restricted, right? With color, you can pull all these things apart easier, but with black and gray, you have to be really, really harsh with your black in order to get that same kind of contrast and separation. So, yeah. So
And this is the head.
Top of the head. This was one of the most recent things he's done.
This is super cool too. Again, we have like a mask, like a Hanya mask of sorts, and a snake.
Yeah, there's a snake in there traveling around.
And the skull. I really like this one too.
It fits the head nicely. And like the Hanya mask, the way it's set, it conveys that the skull is the entire head,
Yeah.
It's really nice play there. I really like how they framed it all off here too. It's a nice fade off onto the front of the forehead. It gives you the sense that, and I don't think that he will, but if he wanted to, he could probably build more of that shading down farther or do something else. I think this is just going to be a noggin tattoo. And
yeah, not everybody has to keep
dude's got a really
their face, so.
classy dress. Like he's very, very well put together. Like he looks very like business professional type.
Well, that looks real nice with tattoos.
Well,
too.
especially I think black and gray tattoos are fairly palatable. They're digestible. So I feel like it's this is where I always say like not all tattoos are deal breakers. I feel like especially soft black and gray has got a very professional, clean look to it, and it's not loud and aggressive. So yeah, I like that head tattoo. And here you see on the side of his head, he's got all these little details here. I don't know what I know this kanji behind. I like the negative kanji.
It's a pagoda.
The soft.
Of
It
sorts.
does look
or
like
like
some
not
kind
a
of
pagoda,
pagoda
or like
of some.
it's like an arch, like they're like a it's like an arch, like a.
The only thing is, it's
Not a pagoda.
it's very, very soft, and heads and faces, they do tend to soften a lot as time goes on. So I think like probably would be better to go a little bit darker in some places here to give some separation from the back and foreground. The subtle lining or darker shading around the edges of these things is really masterful work, really, because they have such little happening there to divide things, yet they've still achieved 3 distinct layers here with the all negative, the soft shading, and the structures in front of the soft shading. It definitely does have a good amount of depth in there for how small this is. Like, that's pretty hard to do with black and gray. I feel like it's easier to, like, if this was all full color, it'd be easier to differentiate everything. There are some places where the trick doesn't work as well, but I don't know if that was the desired effect behind the ear there for those to appear farther away, or if there was some kind of depth play in mind, but they're not as sharp as the ones out in front. Like I said, that may have been a desired effect. I like how the snake wraps around at the top of that kanji. At the top,
I like seeing the snake too.
It's a nice incorporation that keeps you in mind that the head and the side of the head are working together.
Yeah.
Right.
All connected, and by this like soft gray background too.
Those little tricks really pull like cohesive like suits together, where you see pieces of things that are in other places show up in other parts of the suit.
I also like that the soft gray shading seems to be mimicking like a very natural hairline.
Oh yeah, for
I don't
sure.
know if it's necessarily this person's natural hairline, but it looks like that they were trying to follow where their hairline would naturally be.
It seems as if he grew his hair in, and all of this goes away.
Yeah, or if
Right.
they had like a tight buzz, that's where the tight buzz would be, you know?
So I think this is a close-up of his stomach.
Oh, this is super cool.
It's really hard to tell. Yeah, that
a
is.
snake
I think that's his belly button there. I don't know. The fuck is this? I gotta zoom, see if I can find. Where the hell is this? I
don't know.
I can't tell where that is. That's the only problem here. I honestly couldn't tell you what part of his body this is.
No, this is really cool.
It's really cool, whatever the fuck it is. It's nice. Again, really, really nice black and gray work here.
And Japanese symbolism is Darumaka or Daruma or
Yeah, I think so.
something along those lines.
Yeah,
For
with the
whatever reason,
snake
it has jumped out of my head what they're called.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of color here in this piece.
Oh yeah, red.
Strangely, there's red lips and a bullet.
I feel like this is a tattoo from the past.
It might be, but it looks like it's incorporated fairly well
to this this current work, which is all very traditional.
It is
Japanese
again,
symbolism, like imagery.
There's not a lot of different tones here, but they've achieved the effect of like differentiating things.
Yeah,
with just these subtle edges.
It feels like there's the Japanese, they do this these ink kind of paintings. It's kind of like watercolor, but it's all with black ink. The style doesn't remind me of it, but the softness reminds me of it.
Whoever did the work is quite masterful at this, because like it would be so easy if you just dialed everything down a notch for all of this to get lost.
Right, but they have done a beautiful job. Like I think that's like Mount Fuji in the background. Or
I've seen a lot of black and gray that's like soft, like gray, where it just looks like a big blob. Right, like it's just like, what is any of that? But this has all got good light source, and it plays well. Like you could tell where everything. It's all in the edging of things in here.
And even when I like lean back, I can recognize everything in the image.
Yeah. So
especially like this is a really busy image too.
Oh,
like
there's
this
a lot
section.
going on in there.
And like this is another like really beautifully busy section.
This one I don't like quite as much, but it is nice.
No, I love that the smoke again travels all throughout the body.
Yeah.
And then we got like the samurai sword and the skull and the helmet. Like this is really cool. The details on the helm are amazing.
See, I have a hard time picking out the sword, but
It's
I do
in his
see it.
mouth, yeah.
I see it. It's just, it's almost too light. I think. But it's very ghostly and kind of ethereal looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. Gorgeous.
And then we have a close-up of his hand tattoos, which are a bit of a departure, but they're still like, when they're this good, and especially on hands to have portraits look like that, that's not an easy thing to do.
Right?
Yeah, and then where is the tiger? Is that in front of his stomach?
It must be his stomach.
I would imagine so.
Because if he's standing like this must be our tummy.
I would ask if he would send at some point some farther away shots, even just for a quick follow-up, so I can see where all of this is. He actually usually isn't like tattoo model. He's more of a clothing model. Mm-hmm. So this was just kind of his side thing that he was doing, believe it or not. And so like he doesn't have a lot of available clips for me to go and like capture.
Like this is his piece,
yeah,
because there's
exactly.
probably a lot of clothes in the way.
Yeah, it can be a little hard to tell where all of these things are at, to be honest with you.
No, well, I think that's the artist that did all of these has done an amazing job, because I'm not like, oh, now I see a nipple.
Almost
there's
every
a belly button.
Yeah, almost every like portrait I've seen on a hand looks terrible.
Well, I like these.
They almost always look bad.
soft.
Yeah, they're fucking great. This is about as good as you get on a hand for a portrait.
Yeah, beautiful soft portraits.
So like this guy is rocking some amazing work, I want to say. Like not just because I like the guy either, and I'm not usually a fan of black and gray work, but like this is all very nice.
Oh, we found the nipples.
Okay, so we do have so the tiger was
Tummy.
part of the tummy, and I do think that the top is a bit more busy than I would like, but it's still readable. Like it's
so cool,
and they're still of a size where you can imagine this is going to age fairly well. I wish he would do the nipples. I don't think he's going to do the nipples. Some people, especially if you have this much work and they still haven't done them, they're probably not going to do them.
Yeah.
But like, man, can you imagine how much nicer this looks if the nipples are tattooed?
Yeah.
Just soft black and gray over top of those fucking things.
Right?
It takes so much, like, kind of this emphasis away from the artwork to have those things in there. I'm never a fan of nipples in any composition.
No, I know you're not. You're always like, get rid of them.
But look at the face on that girl is beautiful too.
She's gorgeous, and it's not a huge face.
No.
And then same with the detail in that like samurai mask, like that warrior mask there too. It's like beautifully done.
He
Perfect
does have
darks.
He has another pop of color over there in that inner sleeve there.
Oh yeah,
little-
an eye
Yeah.
looks like maybe an owl or something.
Usually these things, though, when they're this detailed, they look completely unreadable, and this one is still readable. So, like, this is very, very good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a big fan of all of this.